Welcome to a new episode of the Sunday Sauce. I have a very special guest here, Councilwoman Vickie Paladino, who ran for District 19 in Queens, Northeastern Queens, and she won. I know Whitestone pretty well. I actually worked at Flushing Hospital. That was my first EMT job before I was FDNY EMT. Lovely neighborhood, hardworking people, and Vickie Paladino, perfect to win that. So, Vickie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here and to be part of your sauce. That's great.
Listen, I've been waiting a long time to have you on the show. I know you're a very busy woman. A lot of things have been going on. Like I said, we spoke a little before. What really caught my eye about you was back when you were officially elected. They wanted you to come to city council chambers, but you wouldn't go because of the whole stupid mask mandate. And I thought it was pretty funny, right? So what was the whole deal with that?
Well, what happened was, I won the race. I ran on mandates. I ran on education. I ran on quality of life, NYPD, get back our cops, the regular stuff. But I was highlighting the thing about the mandates because at that time, at the later part of the race is when they crashed us with the teachers not being able to go back to work. That happened in the very beginning of September. Deadlines were being given out. If they didn't comply, they were going to have a year where they could go without pay, hold their insurance, and then they had up to a year to get the injection, the vaccine. Mm-hmm. And that upset a lot of people, and it should, because they waited until the very last, like literally, school was going to start shortly after Labor Day, and they sprung this on, and they started to hear murmurs about that in late August. And I was at the height, you're coming off the summer, the election is November, but I've been fuming about this since end of 2020 and all through 2021. But the worst part about it when they did this was that they actually told these people they could not seek employment elsewhere. So, yeah.
I didn't even know that, actually. That's pretty crazy.
They were allowed to take a leave or forced to resign. But if you took the leave, you were not allowed to seek employment. Well, that just blew up. That was unheard of. How does the government have the right to tell you, you must get a vaccine in order to work, and B, if you choose not to work and take their leave of absence, you are not allowed to seek employment. That's taking bread off your table.
Correct.
That's overreach, don't you think?
I would agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's bizarre. So I hosted several town halls in my campaign office, blew out the doors, had 150 people here, very concerned. I didn't do it once, I did it twice. And then it became a very big deal. Yes. So when it came to city council, they requested, you remember, show me your papers. You had to show them your proof of vaccine. Right.
Which is gone now. It magically disappeared.
Now magically that disappeared. But back in the day, in January, we had our first dated meeting, end of January. I'm not showing anybody my papers. And that's how the whole thing started. And then I got my religious exemption about 10 days later from City Hall because I belong on the floor. I belong on the chamber's floor just like everybody else. I'm an elected official. It just blew up and then it calmed down. And then in February, sadly, police officers were getting notices, as was our teachers, our firefighters, that they were going to be let go if they didn't they had 3 to 5 days within receipt of that email that they got. So on the average, it was about 150 civil servants were being let go every few days. And then it blew up to this. We hosted a press conference / rally last week that I'm very proud of. Yeah. And it was a huge success. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that the mayor, Mayor Adams, I had actually good high hopes for this man. Like, he was pro-police. I
Right.
work for the city. I used to work FDY EMS. Now I'm in a different agency now. But I had high hopes for him. Pro police. He was a cop for almost 30 years. He spoke very, very high game. And then when he pulled this whole, we're not going to hire back these city workers who we let go, but we're going to let Kyrie Irving play basketball. That's where he lost me. I'm done with him after that. I'm done.
That was the icing on the cake for me. When Bravest for Choice came to me, Teachers for Choice, they approached me, and I have a very big following. So, Vickie, we need your help, and I am the only elected official who put a voice to this publicly.
Correct.
What I did as a candidate and as a private citizen is just Vickie Paladino. But now Vickie Paladino won her seat. I am an elected official. I am a city council member, and it's wrong. And they asked me for help, and I wasn't turning away these people. When I say they want their jobs back, make no mistake, Mike, what they want back is their careers. I'm not talking about people who are on the job just a few years, 5 years. I'm talking about 20-year veterans, 18-year veterans. They're 2 years short of getting their 20 years in. And they got up every day. They went to work in the height of the pandemic. Who the hell put out the fires, Mike, in 2020? Who showed up for work every day? The cops getting buckets of water. Everybody forgets about 2020 and the riots. And what happened to this city.
I know.
But these are the people who showed up every day, Mike.
Well, first of all, when it comes to the riots in 2020, the liberals, they don't care about NYPD. Bad guy, they're bad. They're the worst. They want the NYPD fired. They don't care about them. But so they're not even in the conversation when it comes to hiring the NYPD back because they're bad people. We hate the NYPD because they protected the city during riots, God forbid, because that's their job, right?
That's their job, right?
That's their job. But in hindsight, we're not going to get into this whole other conversation. De Blasio, the bozo, like I called him, should have had the National Guard there instead of the NYPD. Then we wouldn't have this problem. But
none of this, all of this could have been shut down in 1 month.
Correct.
In 1 month, when they threw that bucket of water on that cop's head that day, if you remember that day.
I remember, yes.
Okay. That started the whole thing of disrespect. Right there, that opened the floodgates, pardon the pun, but that did open the floodgates to people besides, knowing there's the bail reform, there's the turnstile justice system, there's all of that. And people were just able to get away with whatever they got away with. But to come back to our civil servants and them showing up every day for work and doing what they needed to do. And here we are 2 years later, the winter of 2022, and mandates are lifted for some, but not for all. And they're being fired. They're being asked to resign. And if they don't meet what the mayor wants them to do, that's why I pleaded with Adams. Listen, when I got up to the mic at that press conference, I praised the mayor because what I said to him was that you inherited this debacle, this disaster, and you could actually make it right by reinstating the 1,640. Now it's probably close to 1,500 because so many are getting let go daily, depending upon when they got that email and what they need to do. So I said to Adams on the mic, look, you could come out a hero today, tomorrow, next week. Just reinstate these civil servants. And there's so many still that are facing the lawsuits because they had gotten their religious exemption, or they did not get their religious exemption. They were waiting to hear on it. So there's still thousands out there. Make no mistake, I'm saying 1,500, 1,460, 1,500.
Right.
But in reality, it's somewhere around 5,000 or more. Crime is spiking every which way you turn. And there's no good old-fashioned cops on the job to do what they need to do. These are seasoned cops and firemen and EMS workers. These are people who are teaching the new people who come in. They look up to these seasoned servants. And, this is wrong. Another thing too, these are the everyday people. I call them the everyday people, the forgotten men and women, because they grew up wanting to be this in their careers. They didn't grow up saying, I want to be a scientist. They didn't grow up saying they wanted to be this or that. They wanted to be policemen, firemen, teachers. That takes special inside you. You're a special person.
You want to serve the community. You just like don't decide one day you want to be a fireman.
No, it doesn't happen that way. It seems it's just, getting to know that. And I know a lot of firemen from when they were little and now they're big and they've since retired, or they've retired in the last couple of years, not due to the mandates or anything like that. It's just that time was up.
Right.
But they respect, who walks into a burning building?
While people are running out.
Yeah, people are running out, they're running in, okay? Who's tackling people on the street? Who's taking guns off the street? Who's going after drug dealers? Our cops, these are heroes.
Right.
These
heroes. They're heroes to me and you because we're normal people who respect law and order, but to our leftist friends, they're not heroes. They need to be defunded. They need this, they need that. This bail reform is the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. The list that they let people out for, crimes against children, you shoot someone, you're out before your soup gets cold. I don't understand. What is this?
One police officer told me that he had not yet even finished paperwork on somebody that did a felony. Yeah. And the felon, he was out already.
Of course.
He was out. He was done. He was out already. Yeah. Now, how do you imagine these people getting laid off from work? They're getting kicked in the teeth, kicked in the gut by everybody. And now the final cherry on top of the cake is that because you won't get a vaccine for reasons of your own personal choice, or maybe belief in it, whatever it is, religious belief, or you are actually allergic and you could get your medical exemption and they're getting turned down. It's a lottery. One of the guys who spoke, fireman, who spoke on Tuesday of last week, he said he has a twin brother who was in one of the 300 people that were there, identical twin. And they both put in the same exact paperwork. It mirrored each other. The paperwork. They filled it out exactly the same. The guy in the audience, his twin brother, his papers were accepted. His religious exemption was accepted.
And his brother's
guy at the mic, his was not. That is ridiculous.
Well, I was going to say, so these firemen that were dying in response to that, the FDNY is saying it was a medical episode, but we all know it was probably reaction.
Well, it's funny you should say that because somebody, most of the press spoke to me before I got to the podium. I did all the interviews before. And then at the end, somebody called out a question. And the question was about the 100 or so firefighters that died from mysterious causes. And he says, what are you going to do about that? And I looked at him, I says, that's not my job. No. I cannot help that.
It's not your job.
It's not my job. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. That's a personal choice that the family has to take, whether they want an autopsy done or anything like that. And just to go to show you, for all the good you do, there's one person there who just tried to nail me to a cross because I couldn't say anything about other than the reality that I'm not a doctor. That's a personal choice that they, I can't say how they died. What do I know?
You can't please everybody. I
don't even try.
There's nothing you could do. Listen, there's only 5 Republicans in city council and the rest are all Democrats, right? So you already know you can't please everybody. You work with all Democrats, which must be ridiculously hard. So
we try to get along, and there are those that I do get along with, and that's fine. Of course, there's some common sense on on their side. It's just that a lot of them feel threatened that if they talk or are seen with a Republican in pictures, I know somebody in particular that's been asked more than once, you speak to Paladino?
Oh,
Oh my God, what's she like?
wait, am I going to be put on some list if I have you on my podcast now? I'm going to be on like the no-fly list or something like that. That's
exactly.
It?
And the answer was, she's really quite nice. You should try to talk to her. You might have a lot in common. I know I do with her. So, give her a chance. But whatever it is, it is. I give everybody the time of day, a nice smile, and I'm on committees. And the committees, of course, are back and forth.
Yeah, right.
And I do my best, and that's it. However it goes, it goes. But I know I'm here to serve the people. That's my job. That's why I got elected. And that's why I told Mayor Adams, please, Speaker Adams, Adrian, she came out with a very bold statement about reinstating these people who are out of work, as did our borough president here in Queens, Donovan Richards. So we're kind of on the same page. Me, Vickie, the Republican, Adrian Adams, the Speaker. And, I'm waiting for my other 5 city council, the other 4 that I sit with in the chambers there, to come out as strong as I have, to reinstate these forgotten men and women.
Well, I think I know for sure Joe Borelli is definitely, and Ian Vernikov, because I talked to them both personally. And I know they're definitely both with you. I mean, I don't know if they were being as strong, but like publicly, but they're definitely on your.
Well, we're going to try to do something about that. So
I haven't talked to the other 2 people, so you're the only 3 that I have actually talked to so far. But now you live in Whitestone. You lived in Whitestone your whole life, right?
Yes. Oh, he is 60. I'm 67 years old. I've lived in Whitestone my whole life by the Whitestone Bridge.
So so I live in Bay Ridge, Whitestone, Bay Ridge, little similar neighborhoods, blue collar, a lot of cops, firemen, sanitation. How's the crime there?
Well, we're seeing a big spike. There's a lot of break-ins, which sadly, Whitestone has always been known for break-ins. It's just it's gotten more brazen. You see, we're nestled between 2 bridges, the Whitestone and the Throgs Neck, District 19. And it's very accessible to major highways, be it the Cross Island, the Whitestone Expressway, the LIE. You could be on the Whitestone Bridge in 2 minutes. So that's something else. But now last week, we had a shooting at Cardozo High School. We had a severe harassment at a junior high school, middle school here, walking distance from my office. And we had a shootout in a quiet street in Bayside because somebody was looking for a parking spot. This stuff doesn't go on here.
No, that never happened.
In 1 week, we had 3 incidences.
Right.
So involving guns. So this is taking a step or 2 up. Right. So yes, there are things going on. And then there's the usual quality of life stuff, which we've been tackling since 2020 and a little bit before that. So
yeah. So I was a EMT, my first EMT job at Flushing Hospital from 2013 till about 2017. And I can attest to you, I have never been to a shooting in Bayside, because that was my area, and like Whitestone area ever when I worked there. So I literally maybe a stabbing because
occasional
a couple stabbings here and there. Right. But I've never been in any shootings there in 4 years of me working there. I never really heard about any gun stuff there. I mean,
no, that was bad. That happened not this past Sunday night, the Sunday night prior. It was more like Saturday night. They were coming out of wherever they were coming out of. There was a house that somebody rented as an Airbnb and they threw a party in it. And people were coming from all over. Yeah. And sadly, one kid was looking for a parking spot. And I have the video. They opened fire on the street. 22 shells were picked up on a quiet street Bayside. It was just, I woke up to that news on Sunday morning 2 weeks ago. So that was the start of the week. That's how that one particular week got started. Not good.
So the residents must be very happy you're the council because you must know everybody there, right?
I think everybody's very happy. Yes,
Right. What took so long? Why did you wait 60 some odd years to get into politics? I mean, come on, tell me what happened,
well,
Vickie?
what happened?
Yeah.
I was always an activist. I
Right.
mean, look, I married 47 years,
Mhm.
raised 2 kids, ran 2 businesses,
Mhm.
always active, always active in my community. I was always the person people push, you go talk.
Mhm.
And I did, whether it was the PTA, whether it was community boards, whatever it involved. So I stayed active that way. And then I don't know whether you ever saw that infamous video of me go with de Blasio and Whitestone.
That was you.
Was me.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And who the hell expected that? Because that was literally, I was coming home from getting my nails done. We were driving down Francis Lewis Boulevard, and my husband said, "Look, Vic, there's the mayor." And I said, "Pull the car over."
Yeah.
And he said, "What, you crazy?" I said, "Pull the car over."
I love it.
And he was just running for his second term.
I remember.
And that started the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because I watched him from 2013 on, I was very political all my life, very political.
That video was all over the place. That video, I saw it, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere.
It was like
Queen's lady yells at mayor. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You want to know what got the worst for me was when I said, "You could call me anything you want," but when they referred to me as elderly, and anybody who knows me knows I'm anything but elderly. You can use any other word. Elderly was funny. That was funny. But that's what it, so, and it just took off from there like a firecracker. It just blew up, and people asked me to run for office. I started a very, very, very popular, what's now very popular political club here in Whitestone, and people come from all over the boroughs. I have as many as a bad crowd for me is 150 people. A great crowd is 300 or more.
Wow.
So yeah, and even during COVID, I hosted, I asked my husband, I said, "What do you think? Can we have some meetings in the backyard?" So he says, "Yeah, just tell people to bring their lawn chairs." So I had I had from June 2020, because I had it by then. Late June 2020, right through to November, I was having meetings in my backyard, up to 250 to 275 people a month. That's how badly they wanted out of their house. And they were able, if they wanted the social distance, they did. If they wanted to wear a mask, they could. Hand sanitizer was there, whatever they wanted, whatever made people happy. I had Joe Imperatrice was a speaker there many times. I had great speakers. And then we brought it back indoors, and I just hosted last month Lee Zeldin and Andrew Giuliani, and the house was packed, maybe 350 people. We meet once a month. It's always the second Wednesday of every month, and the crowds just keep on coming. I'm hosting Scott Lebedo.
I actually interviewed Scott Lebedo already.
What's he like to have? I mean, he approached me to speak to my club.
Scott is a interesting guy. That's all I'll tell you. He's a very interesting guy. Very, very outspoken, very what's the word I'm looking for? He's very for the cause, but from an artistic point of view.
I get it. All right. Well, I know who he is, and I've seen his work, and I've seen some of the things he does. But I went to the Blue Angels, Joe's Angels banquet.
I was there.
I was there.
I was there.
I was there too.
I was with Joe Pinion and Andrew Giuliani. We were sitting at the table.
Oh, you're kidding. I was across the dance floor from you. I was sitting with Darren. I was sitting with several people. Now their names, of course, Sammy.
Joe Pinion is a friend of mine and a friend of my producer.
I want him to talk at my club.
Well, I mean, I could try to pull a few strings. You're an Italian. I could try to,
Oh, I would love it
for you. I could try to hook it up. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Good. No, it's okay. No, yeah, I can. We could try to work something out for you, Joe. He's very busy though because he's trying to beat Chuck Schumer. So, it's very important.
Right now.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew's been to my club 2 or 3 times. Lee's been there the once. And I mean, the turnover, Northeast Queens, which is my end of Queens, has really pulled a lot of people over the finish line.
Mhm.
So I'd like to, I like to give the people the voice. The voice is, and let them make their own choice.
Right.
I stay out of everything. I don't endorse until if there's a primary, till after a primary. And if there's no primary and I feel very strongly, I come out right away.
Mhm.
But I take my time. This is a very delicate balance. We've got to win back the state.
Absolutely.
And we need our Congress. They redrew our lines. It's like Swiss cheese over here. You can't make heads or tails. Everything goes this way and that way. And that was for state and that was for Congress.
Mhm.
Now we're waiting to see how they're going to draw the city council lines. We should know within the
I
next.
saw that. Listen, this Max Rose, this guy is just ridiculous. He tried to get the whole Park Slope has nothing to do with Staten Island. We know you want more liberal votes. It's not happening, bro. Get over
Right.
it. Just get over it. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I saw the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, what they did to Nicole and her lines.
I know.
It was a shame.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, we won one battle,
Mhm.
when the judge came down last week.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Portland and Staten Island has something to do with each other. You can't reach into Park Slope. It's not even in the same galaxy.
Exactly. And our guy here who's running for congressional seat 3, George Santos, this guy's been working his tail off since he lost to Tom Suozzi in 2020. And he lost to Tom Suozzi when 20,000 mail-in ballots came in. But Anthony was neck and neck. Now, this guy, I call him Anthony because I know him, but George is his middle name. So when he was running, he hasn't stopped running since he lost in 2020. This guy was, his district goes from Suffolk County and zigzags through Nassau. And then we here are the last stop on the train, the Whitestone area. Okay. Wow. So it's a pretty direct, but it's the largest congressional district, or it was the largest congressional district out of all the congressional districts. Now, what they did was they redrew the lines. AOC is now our congresswoman. They took George's lines and they ran him from Suffolk County to Mamaroneck. That's an hour away.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Come on.
And AOC, the most useless person in Congress. I think she put like 65 bills through, and they all didn't even make it to the first step.
No, and the fact that she's got part of our area, and I don't know, because you said you worked this way when you were EMS. We have an area called La Havre, which is all okay. Yeah, I know. You know that part of La Havre is AOC, and the other part is George's. It makes no difference. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. People are pulling their hair out. They don't know who's their state senator, who their candidate is for state senate. They don't know who their congressional candidate is because they don't know where they sit in the lines. They have no idea.
I actually talked to Mike Rakebrandt last week. He's running for District 2 in Long Island, congressional, and he was trying to explain it to me because I don't really know anything about Long Island politics because I don't really interview with Long Island politicians, only really New York City. So he was saying, how messed up it is. And this guy, Andrew Garbarino, is like,
Barbarino's the worst.
That's what he's saying. He's like, this guy is just like,
he is the worst.
He's literally a liberal and Republican in disguise. That's exactly what he is. That's what he's running against. And he said, it's very dire race. And like it's either him or the other guy who's running against Garbarino. It begins with a C. I forgot his name. There you go. Yeah.
Now that's a personal friend of mine. So anybody who's watching this, you want to cast a vote, you cast a vote for this guy, Rob Cornicelli.
Cornicelli, there you go, right.
A friend of mine now for the last 4 years. This is a patriot. This is a former Marine.
Right. That's what. So Mike Rakebrandt also was a Navy Purple Heart, but he said that. Listen, if either of us, he talked about him very nicely. He goes, he's also a serviceman. And Mike Rakebrandt's also NYPD detective. And he had nothing nice things to say about the other guy. He's like, if he wins or I win, we're both in good shape. As long as it's not Garbarino, I don't care. That's literally what he said. So they very nice things to say about him.
I think Zeldin was endorsed by Barbarino, or Zeldin endorsed Barbarino. Rumor has it. Don't count on what I'm saying, but I that's a little bird in my ear told me that.
I was actually having a conversation with do you know who Jackie Toberoff is? She ran for
of course.
Yeah, all right. So she's another good friend of mine. I had her on the show again a couple weeks ago. We were talking about how Lee Zeldin, I don't really see him in Manhattan a lot, or like the inner boroughs. He's always in Queens and he's always in like Long Island, but I see Giuliani more everywhere else. And I was like, that's a real problem for Lee Zeldin. He really needs to start being more, mobile,
Well, Lee's got his name because he's been a congressman. He's respected by so many. He's a Long Island boy. And remember, when you come into Queens, like right here where I'm sitting right now, you drive 15 minutes and you're on the Nassau County line.
Right.
That's it. I'm literally throw a rock and you're in Long Island. I think, anybody who's running for governor, you need 33 1/3 of New York City, of the 5 boroughs. Right. And that's why upstate doesn't care much for us city folk, because we determine who runs the state.
Pretty much.
And because we vote the way we vote, or we don't come out and vote at all.
Exactly.
Their lives are in peril upstate. And that's not fair.
Right.
To the people who live over the Tappan Zee Bridge and further up. It's just not fair. So I hope that, so far it's been a very polite race between Andrew and Lee, and Rob Astorino, let's not forget him.
I don't even hear about him, honestly.
I know, but he's in a perfect world, it would be nice if you could have one for mayor, governor, one for governor, one for controller, and one for AG. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but, I just know Andrew, personally, he's a nice guy. I never met Lee Zeldin, so I don't have anything to say about him. I just know that I never see him in the boroughs. I always see Andrew and Astorino. I don't even know. I haven't even heard his name. Astorino
did great things up in Rockland County. First of all, he's a sweetheart of a guy, to know him as a person. Yeah. He is a little firecracker, and he really saved property taxes up there. He's done a lot of very, very good stuff up there.
I love it.
Yeah, but is he fit to be governor? No, I think it comes down to Andrew. Is he fit to be governor? Yes, I should never say no. He would make a very good governor if given a chance. But I think with Zeldin and Andrew in the race, I think he kind of
falls off a little bit, is what you're saying.
Yes, he falls off. Big names.
Big names. Right. 100%. If Zeldin and Giuliani were nobodies, Astorino would probably have a better chance. I know what you're saying, because Giuliani has the name and Lee Zeldin has been in Congress, so they have the juice, right?
They have the juice.
That's what it is. Right.
Exactly. I'm just, like you say, it's something for us, my club. I feel like one of the main reasons for my club has always been to educate people. I feel that you cannot vote unless you're educated. Years ago was different, but now you really, especially when you're talking about a primary is the most important vote you're going to cast, because I was in a primary twice. And that determines who the candidate is going to be in November.
Correct.
So I tell everybody, please know your candidates, know them well, know what they stand for, and vote the right way. And most important, get out to vote. And it's June 28th this year. Get out and vote in the primary, because we need to take back the state. And Long Island went totally red this last election, totally red. In 30 years, they haven't turned one seat, and they did it this year in 2021.
People are sick of it.
People are sick of it. But here's the bottom line. If we put up decent state Senate candidates and we're down 12 or 13, we could really take back some seats in the state Senate. We may not get all 12, but we could definitely build it so that in 2 years, because those seats come up every 2 years. In 2 years, we run some more. And then before you know it, we could get back the majority, even if it's by one seat in the state Senate, and disarm this executive power that the governor gives herself or himself, when it was Cuomo, And then they dictate to us how we live through executive power. And, declaring, which brings me to legislation that I'm going to be introducing to the city council.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I'm introducing legislation that is going to be comprehensive anti-mandate initiatives. And what it is to rein in executive power and state of emergency. For example, these people cannot come up and wake up one day and decide that they're king or queen without declaring why did you do that? Question. Right. And I said that about Cuomo. I put that out there back in 2020. Question your governor. Nobody questioned the government. Everybody just took a knee. So here I'm introducing to the city council. It's in right now, and it's being tweaked and whatever. But here's how it goes. Executive power, justify it. Limited amount of time before it needs to be rejustified. I'm going to be doing a grassroots campaign for it, as well as an outreach. Grassroots being reaching out to those organizations that it needs to get behind, telling people to call every city council person that they know in their district and say, vote yes on this bill. Because this way we could, every 3 or 4 months, whatever the bill reads, we could bring it back to the council, let them justify the state of emergency that they've managed to get away with for 2 years, and rein in executive power, because it can't be this way anymore. We cannot allow the government to rule over us without justification. It needs to be justified by the majority. And that's the bill I'm putting in.
It sounds very reasonable to me, and it sounds, if you're a reasonable person, you should agree with that. I mean,
that's it.
These people that still wear masks outside, it's just baffles me.
You know what, Mike? Again, I don't care.
I know you don't care, but
if they want to wear their mask, so be it. But don't let the government tell you have to wear a mask.
That's what I'm saying. It's just okay. Because Dr. Fauci still says to people, you should still be wearing masks because COVID might come back. No, dude. No. Just if people want to wear masks, let them wear the masks.
Let me ask you something. We all know people who've gotten sick, right? I lost a brother and a sister to cancer. What was the first thing you would say to them? Get a second opinion. Right. Get a third opinion. Of course. We got 350 million people living in this country, Mike, and we only went to one doctor. Yeah, of course. Dr. Fauci, Lord Fauci. There's common sense in that, Mike.
That's why I tell people this all the time. There's so many much more worse diseases than COVID. What did they do when there was the AIDS pandemic? Remember? What did they do? He didn't say, "Oh, everyone wear a mask." No, it wasn't like there's no vaccine for AIDS still. There's no, or HIV. Yeah. So they didn't lock everyone up for 2 years. It's just so ridiculous.
Well, Jackie, you brought up Jackie. Jackie is a very good source. I've never seen somebody fight as hard as she has for the kids. I never saw anybody fight as hard as she did to save Soho and Tribeca. I mean, that's our downtown. Come on. And I love the city. And, my oldest son moved out at 24 and lived down there ever since. You cannot do this. And she was the candidate to win. So, in my opinion, and I'm very sorry that she didn't, because I hope she goes out for it again, but she is writing and she knows what the hell she's doing and she knows what the hell she's talking about. I wish Jackie all the best. And I had her to my office here. We spoke many times and, I'm here and she's there and I'm all about my district. So I don't really get into Manhattan much, except to go for dinner and stuff like that. So back when we were campaigning, I would see her more often. But we have very similar views on things, but I'm working on this legislation and I'm telling you, this is the way to go. Rein in executive power. Hold them responsible.
I love it. I love it.
So then you got to get to your city councilman. Who is it again?
You know who it is.
I know.
We're not going to
I'd bust
speak
your
his
chops.
name. We're not going to speak his
I
name.
thought I'd bust your chops.
Come on, you know who it is.
You call Justin Brennan and you say you vote for Vickie Paladino's bill, and let me know what he says.
I'm going to tell him we're good friends now, and then he'll not like. Well, he already doesn't like me because I interviewed Brian Fox, and we had a big shit talking hour about him. So he already doesn't like me. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Don't worry, trust me.
No, I mean, I just hope that everybody could get behind at least a majority. I think I need there's 51 people in city council. I think I need 26 or 27 to vote yes.
Well, let's hope there's sensible Democrats that can, this is common sense knowledge. That's literally what it is. It's common sense. It's common sense.
I'm not saying do away with executive power, and I'm not saying do away.
Rein it in.
Just rein it in at a certain amount of time. Bring it up. Let it be rejustified.
It needs to be evaluated every couple of months. Just like a job, like a job performance. It's
there you go.
Yeah,
very similar.
Job performance.
Exactly, 100%. 100%.
Come on.
So anyway, this was great. I loved being on.
Vickie, I really appreciate. I want you to come back after this bill. Maybe we could talk about, because we have to talk about so much more stuff. We didn't have enough time. But tell us where we can find your social media and everything. Well,
my social media is on Instagram. It's Vickie. What is it? Vickie Paladino. I got two Instagram.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, very fancy.
Vickie Paladino NYC is Instagram. And Facebook is Vickie for NYC.
All right.
And I have my personal. That's it. Just go to
don't worry about it.
And Twitter. I'm on Twitter too.
She's on Twitter.
People. Vickie NYC on Twitter. Vickie Paladino. I don't do Twitter, so only post. That's all I do.
I don't know
much about it.
I'm not a Twitter guy. I'm only Instagram. So don't worry.
Okay, so go on Instagram. It's a good site.
Good. I follow you on Instagram, so.
Okay, good.
We're good. So, all right, Vickie, thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Loved being on. And maybe one day I'll come to Bay Ridge and we'll go for dinner.
I'll take you to anywhere you want.
That sounds good. You pick the restaurant, I'll be there.